Welcome back to the Apatros Review. In this episode, Moontrap, Target Earth. Hi there, welcome back to the Apatros Review. I'm your host, Milo Sepka, and join me as I take you on a ride through the wild world of science fiction action horror, all from my personal collection of about 1,200 DVDs or so. Now, this is probably the first episode I've done that's doing a Region 2 disc, as you can see. Moontrap, Target Earth. This is probably the only release I've been able to find out around the world. Released in UK with a bare bones release from Gilt Edge Media. Now, the disc itself, I'll explain. It comes in the 235 widescreen LCPM stereo, no subtitles, and no supplement either. Anyway, now for the story. A mysterious piece of triangular metal has been found sticking out of the ground after a mining operation removed tons of ore from the area, in somewhere in the American desert. A mysterious businessman, Richard Contral, hires a pair of university linguists to decipher the strange hieroglyphics that are found etched inside the metal. The linguists, comprised of a young couple named Daniel and Scout, translate the inscription as a love letter belonging to an ancient race of humans who lived approximately 14,000 years ago and who were extremely technologically advanced, although no other trace of their civilization has ever been found. Contral and his assassin Nicole are actually working for a group of society's elite who are controlling the planet's population, and when they find out about the existence of the ancients, they panic, killing Daniel, forcing Scout into hiding. Scout, meanwhile, begins having dreams of the ancients, and when Control discovers that the metal piece is actually a tail fin of a house-sized spaceship buried under the ground, and that the ship is actually coming online after Scout is close to it, he decides to bring Scout to the ship, where the pair are abducted by an ancient robot living inside the ship and taken to the moon, where they are forced to fulfill the last mission of the ancient race, to terraform the moon so it can sustain life. Now, the original Moontrap was a 1989 science fiction horror film about two human astronauts who were sent to the moon to defeat a race of alien robots that had an alarming tendency to augment themselves with human body parts taken from the people they kill. It starred Bruce Campbell and Chekhov from the original Star Trek TV series for the astronauts, and some quite gnarly B-grade practical effects, becoming something of a minor cult classic on VHS, and has since only gotten more popular, although finding copies of VHS or the rare DVDs is something of a headache. Given that I've been collecting sci-fi action horror films on VHS and DVD for the past 19 years, and watching such films since the late 1980s, I was surprised when I only found out about Moontrap in early 2019 after coming across a DVD copy of Moontrap Target Earth, the only release of this film on DVD in the world possibly, given that at the time of this review the DVD Compare website has no mention of this title anywhere, and this follow-up ain't exactly an easy film to find. My stumbling onto this DVD was purely accidental, and what's more, this copy of mine is a second-hand copy from a flea market. While Moontrap, according to its reputation and the reviews I've read online, was a modestly entertaining B-grader that came out in 1989, around a year apart from the other cult lunar-related horror film Dark Side of the Moon, I had the VHS of that one and later acquired the manufactured-on-demand DVD of that film, which is something of a minor cult classic, although, as I said, it is quite hard to find. There's also an interesting story about the circumstances behind the shoddy remastering done to the print for the 88 film's DVD release, so look it up. This follow-up is not actually a sequel, but a type of film I call paraquel, which is a follow-up that strides the line between an actual sequel and a remake. The best example of this I can come up with is Terminator Genesis. Actually, a standalone film that is set in a similar fashion, but not actually in the same universe as the original Moontrap. Like I said, an alternate retelling of the same story. Moontrap Target Earth might be an alternate storyline of the original film, but as far as storytelling goes, it is, to be perfectly honest, quite crap. The ultra-low budget of director Robert Dyke and writer Tex Ragsdale, who by the way were responsible for the original film, prohibited them from spending too much money on the sets. The bulk of the film is set either in a rock quarry, a couple of large empty rooms, and I suspect a green screen backed studio. While the rest of the film's effects, barring some passably designed but very unwieldy looking giant robots, nothing like the awesome looking robots prominently displayed in the DVD slick, are very obvious B-grade CGI. Although to give the visual effects technicians some credit, they do look more convincing than the CGI used in many other B films, and even some A-grade films. That is the only compliment I'm giving the filmmakers for this film. The two robots that appear in the film don't really do much, although they do take on each other in a pathetically lackluster fight, where they fire cheap CGI electrical shots from the eyes of each other, before the fight ends in a draw of one robot dead and the other missing its face, which it repairs, in a nod to the original film, by taking a dead man's face and grafting it onto its head. But while I can excuse the uneven effects and spare use of interiors, the principal problem belongs to the appallingly idiotic story. While I do get that Dr. Rexdale was setting up the ancient astronauts' fringe fear that many half-assed armchair experts is believing in, it's patently ridiculous, by the way, and has no basis in reality, given that the original book decided the whole idea, Chariots of the Gods, was formed out of falsely interpreted evidence and bad speculative junk science. Right, they're setting up the ancient astronauts theory for a massive fall by effectively parodying the crap out of it. The supposed spaceship is actually made by a seriously ancient human civilization that lived 14,000 years ago. The reality is that they only wind up turning their story into something even more implausible. To put this into perspective, my home country of Australia is arguably the world's oldest living civilization, with the indigenous Australians who have been living here for at least 60,000 years, and to add to that, they were extremely resourceful in their society and how they obtained their food sources, but they certainly weren't building things like robots, computers, or even spaceships. That sort of thing just wasn't possible all the way back then. The story is just as ridiculous as the whole ancient astronaut spheres that have been circling around for the past 40 plus years. The author of Chariots of the Gods, the Swiss-born Erich von Däniken, was basically the E.L. James of anthropology, with his fraudulent reporting and misuse of science, if not worse. The acting is surprisingly good from the cast. Sarah Butler has the bad misfortune picking bad film projects to star in. Her other works include the first and final installments of the post-millennial Ospina Grave trilogy, and also seems unable to say phrases such as fuck you without making it sound convincing. She is pretty passable enough for her part, but please, will she find a better agent? The film also stars Charles Shaughnessy, one of the stars of the classic 1990 sitcom The Nanny. In other words, Mr. Sheffield, who handles a ridiculous dialogue is given with plenty of comedic style. If nothing else, it is a laugh ride to hear Mr. Sheffield dropping F-bombs and otherwise acting nasty. If you're a Nanny fan, this film will be crucial to your collection as his performance here is hilarious. The film is essentially a stupid attempt to ridicule an utterly ridiculous concept, coupled with a story that promptly goes nowhere at all, and despite having the same creative talent behind the original film, being so devoid of creativity, otherwise looking like a slightly slicker version of your average asylum mockbuster. Come to think of it, the production values do match. Now, Moontrap Tiger Earth pretty much gets a D, which is a 2 out of 10. Not exactly terrible, but still pretty bad. Now, for the gore report, there's not really any gore here, although a poor schmuck is tortured by CGI flames, a man is blasted by a CGI helicopter, and Mr. Sheffield has his face stolen by a faceless robot to fix his own face. Now for nudity. Sarah Butler appears practically nude here twice, both within 5 minutes of each other. First, as an ancient spaceship blasts off, Butler has a dream where she is almost naked. She's wearing thong pants you can just barely see if you adjust contrast on your monitor, and with her back facing the camera, and the butt mostly covered in shadows. A couple of minutes later, Butler puts on an ancient red dress, while she, but while she's stripping off her old clothes, the naked body is seen briefly from the side, showing her breasts, but is almost completely out of focus, making the side of her very blurry. Now, as for the DVD, this DVD is at the moment the only DVD release in the Western world that I've been able to find so far, and even the DVD Compare website doesn't list anything for this film. As far as technical quality goes, the picture and sound quality are perfect. If you're hoping for a competent release, you're in luck since this thing's pristine. There are no subtitles and no supplement at all, which is a shame given people might need some deleted scenes or an audio commentary to make sense of this film's context. Anyway, that's it for this review, and I hope you're enjoying your coronavirus lockdown. I'll do these like every second day up until the 15th of May when I go back to the old one every 3 days sort of thing. Anyway, hope you guys are staying safe and healthy. I'll see you around. This is it for this review.